Okay. Oh, let's just take a breather, see if the stream is working. Wait for people to come in, as usual. Do do do. Do 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 do. Yeah, me too. Me too. I think that was a very I don't know what the word is. Other than just important way of winning that game. I think it's a very big turning point in our season. Um, yeah, us scoring 4 goals is absolutely unheard of, and it's just as you can probably tell, I'm talking with a smile on my face. Um, I will say before I start and do my intro and stuff, I apologize if my voice gives out at any point. As I mentioned in my preview earlier today, I am feeling a little under the weather, but my spirits have definitely been lifted significantly with this victory that we just had. Um, but yeah, I think we can just hit the intro. Let's go.
Lads, lasses, and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CSC, and this is GBU Live.
Okay. Every time. So, I should mention with my intro, right, I have that set up so I can just, like, click a button and it does it, right? But every single time that it happens, it has a small delay at the end where it doesn't switch to the next scene quick enough, so I kind of have to wait to see if it actually comes up on the stream. Anyway, welcome back to GBU. I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently this time. Usually I would go from the left-hand side, do some goods, then do some bads, then do some uglies, and then finish on the goods. I'm actually just going to straight up go for the bads and the uglies first, and then just pile through all the goods, because there is so many things to talk about in the good box for this one. So, first off, kind of starting on a negative note, I'm going to be putting in the bad box, and I don't want to pick on just him. He is the only person I'm putting in here, but I think he just kind of summarized how bad we were in the first half, and that's for Levi Colwill. I just think in that first half specifically, he grew into the game, admittedly, which is why I haven't put him in the red. But in that first half, he was absolutely woeful. He kept giving the ball away, he wasn't getting into the right positions, his crosses were awful. He tried to do an outside foot cross from the right hand side, and it went, I think, genuinely out of the stadium. And obviously, I do believe, in my personal opinion, it's his fault that we conceded. He stepped up way too high and completely stranded himself, and that gave Burnley the chance to get down that wing. Obviously, Sanchez might have been able to do a bit better with it, and Cucurella probably could have blocked it, but it goes through his legs, and you can't really blame the goalkeeper for not seeing the ball if it goes through a player's legs. But yeah, I think Colwill was just kind of summed up that first half, and I'm going to quickly move straight into the ugly, because the ugly is just a continuation of that. It's just the fact that our energy levels and the way we were playing was just non-existent. We were utterly atrocious. We had zero energy, no passion, no press, slow, boring passing with no ideas, no invention, and no penetration. And we have kind of gotten into this flow now of starting games really poorly and then growing into games, especially after the second half. And I think whatever Mauricio Pochettino is saying to these guys at half-time is working, and he needs to keep doing that, because every single time we come out for the second half, we seem to just turn into a completely different team. We saw this against Brighton, we saw it against Fulham slightly, even though we didn't actually score any more goals in the second half. I think that we kind of played that game in a play style that was better for us than just kind of running around with our heads cut off like a headless chicken. This game was a pure example of that, where in the first half we were absolutely woeful. I genuinely, as soon as that first goal went in, I got fearful that this was going to be another one of those games where we try and get back into the game, and because we're trying to get back into the game, we make more mistakes and then we concede more, and then I thought genuinely we could have gone like 2-0 down and really, really badly lost this game. Luckily, I think this is a slightly new look Chelsea team now, where we don't our heads don't drop when we go behind, and I think we can always get back into a game, and that's the thing we haven't had for a while, a very long while, is the fact that we can get back into games. I'm going to move straight into the goods now, because we have a lot of goods to talk about, and I think every single person and their mother's goldfish can tell who I'm going to put in here straight away, and that's Raheem Sterling, because wow, just wow. I don't understand this guy. I genuinely don't. One week he can't make a 6-yard pass, and the next week he's the second coming of Christ. I don't understand. He was so good in this game. He was electric, full of running and drive. He was involved in every single goal and showed why he's better on the left personally than on the right, in my opinion. His finish for his goal was absolutely clinical, and as I said, he basically he had to be player of the match. He was the only player in the first half that actually did anything, and obviously he gets the first goal. Technically it's his assist for the own goal, but we don't get that own goal without his drive into the box. And genuinely, if we don't score that late goal in the first half, we might not get back into the game. That goal in the late stages of the first half gives us the platform to move on for the second half, and I bet Pochettino said this at half time. He probably said, look guys, it's 1-1, we can win this now, let's just get into gear and we can like push on and go. And obviously Sterling was kind of the instigator of the energy that we were lacking in the second half. I'm going to move on to the next person who kind of goes hand in hand with that in terms of energy, and that's Nico Jackson. If my whiteboard would let me. Hello? There we go. Nico Jackson, there we go. We instantly improved in the second half when he came on. Nothing against Brozier, but I don't think Brozier was fit enough to start this game, and this is partly why in my preview I didn't put him in to start. I just didn't think he would be match fit enough to keep that pace up that he had in the other games, considering how tired he looked. Yeah, he brought so much needed energy and pressing, which boosted the rest of the team in turn. I think him leading the line and spearheading and running, everyone else behind him thinks, oh, I should be doing that too. Whereas I think Brozier was kind of jogging around and not really pressing, not putting pressure on the goalkeeper, not putting pressure on the centre-backs, whereas Jackson we know he's always going to do that. If Jackson doesn't score, we know he's going to bring two things, and that's good hold-up play and constant running. He had some great composure to score his goal, which is something he hasn't particularly shown in recent games, which is nice. So he's getting more goals now, and he's very composed in the box, and he even had some silky, confident skills in the middle of the park too. I saw him do, I don't know if they call it la croqueta or the roulette or whatever you want to call it, in the middle of the pitch to get past a few players, and that was beautiful to see. And not just because the skill was nice, but to see him confident and the fact that he can do those things, which he probably wouldn't have been doing a couple of games ago when he didn't have that good run of form. I'm going to move on to the next player, who again is another one of the goal scorers, and that's the guy who wasn't in the whiteboard a couple of episodes ago, and that's Cole Palmer. Palmer, again, great composure to score from the spot. He even, I will say, like, the penalty, scoring a penalty is high pressure anyway, but when the penalty gets delayed for the VAR check and he has to stand there for ages, that piles on the pressure, and he took this like there was no pressure. He was very good for his assist too, very composed in the box for his assist for Jackson, and I think he's cemented himself now as a major player in this team. If he's on pens, then he must be, like, in the manager's plans. I think Poch is showing a lot of faith in him, which is good to see. Obviously, he's our most creative player, and I think I saw a stat on Twitter. I think he's already or equaled Mason Mount's open play assists for Chelsea in like 3 games, which kind of goes to show what we've been dealing with in the past and what we have now, and why the future is so exciting with this young Chelsea team. The next player I'm going to be putting in here is another midfielder, and that's for the complete dynamo, Moises Caicedo. He might be, I don't even know if this is controversial for me saying, I think he might be the best defensive midfielder in the league. I think the only player that kind of gets ahead of him in that role is Rodrigo from City. He feels almost like a like-for-like replacement for Conte, rather. And genuinely, I think like he has the potential to be even better than Conte was, which is saying something. That's incredibly high praise for Moises. He was crucial for winning the ball back twice before Raz's goal. Obviously, he wins the ball back, he lays it off to Gallagher. Gallagher gets an assist. I'm not actually putting Gallagher in here, but I think, again, he was really good. Our whole midfield it's so nice that the kind of midfield four, even though Palmer's playing on the right hand side, I kind of include him in the midfield because he always cuts into the half space on the inside, like, right channel. That midfield four is so good, and I genuinely, I'm not sitting there like, when did our midfield get this good? I know we splashed a lot of money, but like, when did it just suddenly click? And we've still got Lavia to come in as well. Obviously, we've still got Leslie on the bench. We've got Carney to come back in as well. We've got Nkunku to come back in. Genuinely, our midfield depth is scary. Like, scary for other teams in the league. And this win came at such a good time for us. Obviously, we've got the 2-week break, 2-week international break, before we then go on to face Arsenal, I believe, which is going to be a massive fixture. I think that is going to be the main test. If we can get a result, even if it's just a draw against a really big team like that, I think that kind of shows the level we're at. Obviously, beating teams like Burnley, and I predicted that we would win this game quite comfortably. In the end, it was comfortable, but obviously in the first half it wasn't comfortable at all. But eventually, things worked out, and it was quite comfortable. And I said we'd win 3-0. We did get a three goal difference, but we obviously conceded. Very sad to not get another clean sheet for Sanchez, admittedly. But what can you do? I will say, talking about clean sheets and defenders, though, the one player that I'm going to put in here last, and this might be, I don't know if anyone else was actually watching him in particular, but I thought that Midfield Dasi had an absolute stellar game, and he's been having great games over and over again, and I think he goes a bit unrecognised because he's not very flashy in his defending. He's very just robust, and he's quite a big duelist. I genuinely don't think he lost a single duel. I'll have to check the stats afterwards, and obviously when I do my breakdown, which will come out next week, I'll dive more into that type of thing. But I genuinely don't think he lost a single duel in this game. He was excellent. He was calm, composed, and actually, despite me saying he wasn't stylish, he was actually quite stylish at times in this game. There was a moment where he kind of dribbles past like 3 players, and I thought we were going to see another Kurt Zuma moment. I was like, oh no, he's going to run up the pitch and then send it into Rosette. But yeah, I just don't think people give him the recognition that he deserves, so that's why I thought I'd mention him. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to talk about. Those are the main ones. Is there anyone else? I think Cucurella, maybe I could say that Cucurella was pretty good. Obviously in the first half he wasn't that great, but Cucurella kind of grew into things in the later parts of the game. I don't know what more to say. We've won another game. If we've won 3 games in a row, it's almost unheard of. We've scored 4 goals in a game, which is even more unheard of. Admittedly, we scored 3, technically one's an own goal, but still, getting 4 on our side of the score sheet is just incredible. And as you can tell, I'm in a very, very good mood, and I can't really fault that. Before I do end the stream, though, I will just quickly remind you guys that I'm going to be doing this celebratory Q&A for us hitting 15,000 subs, which, if you've got any questions for me, it doesn't matter if they're Chelsea related or not, they could be personal questions. If you've got a question for me, leave it in the comments with the hashtag AskMono, because that's the easiest way for me to see it. And that video will probably come out in the 2nd week of the international break. Whenever there's an international break, I don't do my kind of scheduled 2 videos a week. I kind of do 1 a week instead, so I'm going to be taking a small break just to have a bit of a rest. Obviously, the breakdown for this game will come out next week, and then the week after that will be the Q&A. Just want to quick, I did see some, I did just see a comment there. Thoughts on Broja? I mean, as I said kind of earlier, I think he just needs to kind of be eased into the game more, because I feel like this was a bit too early, and I said this in my preview. I think it was a bit too early for him to kind of be shoved straight back into the starting lineup. Yes, he did quite well in the last game, but he obviously looked very tired, and I think that's kind of what happened here. He was just a bit too fatigued. Yeah, that's another thing. I could do match ratings as well. But yeah, that was GBU Live. Don't want to talk about this too much. As I said, I'll break down things more in my tactical breakdown that'll come out next week. I'll probably aim for that to be on Tuesday or Wednesday, probably more likely to be Wednesday, but I'll aim for Tuesday. I like to get things out as early as I possibly can, but obviously with other things going on in my life and stuff like that, I can't always get things out when I want. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys for that, and I'm going to hit the outro. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
But that was just my GBU match review for this week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this match in the comment section below, and if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to tap that notification bell so you never miss a video from me, or check out some of the other videos on the channel on screen right now. I've been Mono from Mono CFC, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on, you losers.